Alright, chapter 4. Interrogations. Love it.
The guests are waiting for you, Detective. I informed them of what has happened, but divulged no details.
There goes my opportunity to catch one of them off guard, no matter I have more than one weapon in my armory.
I am most grateful. Madame Vandenbosch is here also?
She's in her room with Miss Angeline. It may be better to speak with them privately tomorrow.
Oui, merci. I shall come find you again once my questioning is complete.
The guest alibis are my priority. Once I can confirm where the whereabouts this evening, I can understand who had an opportunity. I have my lead suspects from the evidence at the scene of the crime. Perhaps those will change after speaking with all of them. Okay. Time to talk to each one of them.
I'm afraid our conversation is of a more formal nature this time.
So the Major was murdered?
It appears so.
You can't think that I did it, though.
I will be questioning everyone over the course of the evening, and your cooperation will certainly speed up that process.
I was here in the salon, minding my own business, enjoying my own company.
Minding your business from whom?
Good question.
Comtesse, what's her name, and my brother. Apart from wanting to congratulate him for a great right hook, there was nothing I had to say to.
Comtesse de Vos? And they will both confirm you were here?
If she had taken a moment to notice anything besides herself, she will tell you I was here the whole time.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Okay, Hugo.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Beckers. Merci for speaking with me.
Monsieur Poirot, or should it be Detective Poirot now?
Detective Poirot is perfect, merci. I would like to begin with a few questions.
Go right ahead, Detective Poirot. I took great pleasure in seeing the Major's ego as well as his face take a bruising, and then I made my way to the library.
Well, you spoke with Mademoiselle Conrad.
And yourself? Yes.
We were the only two that you spoke with.
One of the servants bought me a drink, and I was telling her about the benefits of joining a union. She didn't understand what it truly meant to be a part of something. Something bigger than just her. I was trying to explain to her how...
Monsieur.
Oh, yes, it was just the two of you, and the servant.
Strange that he does not seem to recall him. Mazur. Oh.
And you are sure there was no one else present?
I'm not sure what you're getting at, Detective. You were there.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
I think it's too obvious to be Ernesto.
Monsieur de Silva, merci for obliging me.
A detective comes to a party and a dead body shows up. Coincidental, don't you think?
A man's death is not a matter to joke on, monsieur.
Who said anything about a joke? I am saying what I see.
Then perhaps you can tell me what it was you saw this evening.
Where were you prior to dinner?
Following whatever that was in the hall, I moved to the library.
Okay.
Is there anyone that can confirm that?
Miss Conrad and Beckers were in there, arguing about something. The books held my interest far more than their conversation.
You did not speak with them until dinner was served?
I had no reason to get involved with their little spat. It was clear they didn't want me to hear, and that suited me just fine.
So it would be too easy for him to be it.
Merci for your cooperation. Monsieur Demir, I am sorry your celebrations have taken a rather dark turn.
As am I, Detective. I hope we will be able to bring this investigation to an end post-haste.
With your cooperation, I will do my very best.
I want red shoes now. Besides your time in the hall, where were you before we summoned to dinner?
I was here in the salon. I thought I would have a moment of peace to calm myself, but the Comtesse and my brother followed behind.
Did they inquire into the reasons behind the fight in the hall?
I think they both saw it as some light entertainment, more than anything else.
The Comtesse does not strike me as one to enjoy violence.
And not so much violence, but karma for the Major, perhaps. You did not hear how he spoke to my wife-to-be. She is still rather upset about the whole thing.
That was funny. So we got the achievement there. I got the achievement on my computer because I have game. And then all of a sudden my phone just made the noise because I have it on my phone.
If you would be so kind as to stay
So
here,
forgive the
I
pause
may require your help further.
there, because I was a little taken off hearing the Xbox sound. I'm like, did we get an achievement?
Comtesse, I am sorry our next conversation must be under such formal circumstances.
It is not the first time Felix has ruined a good party.
The current state of tonight's celebrations is the least of my priorities, Comtesse.
Well, it's at the top of mine, detective. I did not come here for a wake.
Perhaps
I like
then
her.
we should proceed with my questions and you can get back to celebrating.
It would be my pleasure, chérie.
We spoke earlier. Do you remain here in the salon until dinner was served?
I did. I thought by staying in one place, it would be easy for the staff to bring me my drinks. How wrong I was.
And who else was present in here?
The handsome groom-to-be and his brother, although Zachariah, is it, made a rather sharp exit at one stage.
Did he say where he was going?
He barely said 2 words to either of us. I think he was more concerned with his drink.
Another to notice his drinking, yet no one seems concerned.
Merci, Comtesse. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
Oh, and here's our one of the pain in the ass.
Mademoiselle Conrad, I am sure you understand the delicate nature of the situation.
I knew I had seen your face before. You were just an officer when that story hit the paper.
You have a très bon memory, mademoiselle. That was a long time ago.
You can't escape the past, especially when you go and do something like that.
That is very true, but one can learn from it and create a better future.
What would you say to an
Please, mademoiselle. Catching the Major's killer is my sole concern right now. Now, if you would be so kind, I have some questions for you.
Tell me about your evening since your arrival.
I arrived, unpacked my bags in my room, and made it downstairs just in time to see the Major take a right hook from Gideon. And then I went to check out the library.
And you were joined by Monsieur Beckers.
And Ernesto, or Monsieur Silver, as you say. But after he ignored my attempt at pleasantries, I left him to his book in the corner.
And your conversation with Monsieur Beckers that I interrupted.
You are a persistent one, aren't you? Makes sense now I know who you really are. You'll just have to wait and read about it in the paper like everyone else.
Yeah. Conrad still remains tight-lipped about her discussion with Beckers, but a hint at reading about it from the newspaper makes me believe it's much grander in nature than I expect.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci.
Okay, so we talked to everybody but the two. Alright. Oh god, we got lots to connect here. Link? Coco! Link, what are you doing? I just turned around to look at my dog. And Link is literally doing the splits because he has a piece of tape stuck to his foot. Come here. And now he doesn't want to walk on his foot. Come here. It's okay, it's just a piece of tape. Oh, honey. Okay.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Poor guy. Okay, Jackie and Hugo confirmed each other's appearance in the library.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
Okay, they confirmed each other's appearance in the library.
Magnifique.
Confirmed each other's appearance in the salon.
Come, my little grey cells.
Oh, probably this.
I must
No,
act
never
on
mind.
thought and fact.
Okay. So. Does it connect to this one?
I should
Okay,
not be
so it does
surprised
connect
by
to
my own skills of deduction.
I wasn't sure if we could double each other's per. There's two more to connect.
Order and method. That is the way to solve the problem.
So, what's up? Okay, so. Okay, Angeline's still. Okay, that's irrelevant. English is very hard today. Okay, so. They confirmed each other's alibi, but he did not confirm his.
I must
No,
take a
okay.
different approach if I am to...
I'm dumb. I thought maybe. Was lurking in the library. Okay, so I have a feeling it has something to do with him going missing, but there was no. There's like no connecting thing about it. Okay, that's... I'm probably having a really dumb moment here. Which would make total sense. I've had a long day today. Okay, so Angeline's still upset about the altercation. But where... Do we need to talk to Archibald? Are you winning the game? Fuck no. It's a really fun game, but apparently my brain is having a very hard time connecting the clues to each other. Because it seems pretty straightforward, and then it's like, no, that's not what I meant. And I'm like, oh shit. Because to me, this part and this part should connect. It does not. So it's very confusing.
Another success.
Ahaha, see?
I never doubted myself.
I knew I had to connect to something. She claims that he stepped out of the room, but Gideon did not mention it. Was his missing time accounted for? So we gotta talk to him. So there's one more thing that needs to be connected. It's not too confusing once you get the groove of it, but I've been off for a couple days because I started my new job. And now I'm trying to, like, reprogram myself, I guess is the best way to put it. So, this one and this one.
Is there
No.
something I am not seeing?
But that's what I get. That's what I get for having to take time off. But I kind of wanted to see if we could get further along so we could finish this game up. Okay, let's stop there for a second. Let's talk to our buddy over here. Maybe get us a little bit more information.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
Your version of the
I
events?
told you already. I was here in the salon.
And you did not leave even once.
Well, I had to use the bathroom. I didn't realize I had to update you every time nature called.
You may keep your calls of nature to yourself, merci. And
That's
then you
cute.
returned to the salon.
If you don't believe me, ask Archibald. He saw me on his way up to the study.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Okay, so bathroom break.
Can you confirm seeing Monsieur Demire in the hall this evening?
Zachariah, yes. I was on my way with a bottle of whiskey to the Major. He shouted a rather ignorable greeting to me.
Archibald,
Asked for directions
on.
to the bathroom.
I presume you showed him the way?
Aye, detective. I showed him to the hall bathroom. I didn't think it was wise to attempt the stairs.
That's
in
fair.
that state.
That's fair. Very fair. Okay, so now we got more stuff. More stuff. Okay, so... Okay, that goes in.
I should not be surprised
Okay,
by my
so
own
now we
skills
still
of
need to
deduction.
figure out the one I couldn't figure out, because I was hoping maybe that would help. Archibald confirms Zachariah's movement out of the salon, however brief.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Gideon, Zachariah, and Margaret were all in the salon, at least for some time altogether. Surely someone else is to blame. So do I need to use that as... So, it's probably something down here. See, this is going to be something really weird. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. But I feel dumb because, like, it's not... Nothing's standing out to me. Maybe this one?
This will not get me any closer to my goal.
Dang it. I was hoping. I have a feeling... No. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it has nothing to do with anything. Maybe I'm really overthinking this. Damn it. I do that every time. Instead of hitting the zoom out button, I always hit the back button. Just don't know. Because he didn't say anything about Ernesto being there. Okay, let's see. Is there anything that's... No. All this because we're trying to figure out a blackmail. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. Drawing a blank. Because nothing seems to fit the connection. Does that make sense? Because there's gotta be something here.
What a revelation.
Ah, okay, okay. Hugo failed to mention seeing Ernesto in the library. Talk to Hugo. Okay. I was like, it's gotta be something with these guys. It's...
Whatever you require, detective. I know you are probably used to dealing with criminals, but not everyone is trying to hide something.
Well, you sound like you're trying to hide something right now. Just saying.
I hope for your sake that you do not hide anything from me.
Just saying.
What is it you think I'm hiding?
I struggle to believe you did not know of Monsieur da Silva's presence in the library.
Is that what this is about? I saw him hiding in the corner, pretending to read. I'd be surprised if he even could. I did not speak to him, and he certainly didn't make any attempt to speak with me.
Monsieur Demire invited you here to speak with him. You didn't see that as a fitting time too?
I was speaking with Jacqueline, and quite frankly, I was in no mood to be dealing with that man.
His courage is full of vigor in his planning, but his execution does not share the same confidence.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
Okay, so...
I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps a...
Maybe this one?
Order and method. That is the way to...
Oh, maybe this one and this one?
I must take a different approach if I
Really?
am to uncover the truth.
Really? And this... Oh. Is it this and this? That doesn't make any sense. See, that's where I get
The
confused.
pieces
Some of
the
these
puzzle
don't
are
make
finally
sense.
coming together.
And if they do make sense to someone, please explain it to me, because I obviously am not understanding. Because that's not what I would have picked. Kokomo!
Magnifique.
Support each other's versions of events. Someone else must have been responsible. Surely? Even with some minute differences in stories, the guests all confirmed each other's alibis. It's not an outcome I was expecting or perhaps hoping for. But that doesn't discredit. We have two people we haven't talked to. Plus we haven't talked to the staff. Come, my little gray cells. Let's solve this mystery. New mind map. That did not yield the result I desire. Perhaps more direct approach, considering potential motives, will reveal more. So now I have to talk to them all again. Okay, let's just start here.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
Did you speak with the Major this evening?
Why would I? I've got nothing to say to him. Except maybe to keep his hands off what is ours.
What is yours that he could want?
Money, of course. Why do you think he has been suckling at the Van den Bosch teat for so long?
Mind
He
your
bled
language.
them dry, and now they will all do the same to our money.
Our?
My father's, Gideon's, it's all the same.
I get a sense that you and Gideon are not closest.
When you have not been on level playing fields for years, it's hard to have a fair game.
I am afraid I do not quite understand.
If we're playing golf, he has a full set of clubs and a caddy in the form of my father, and I have the old split putter. Make sense now?
No.
Perfectly.
I'm glad you got it, Poirot. There's certainly some hostilities towards his brother. This runs much deeper than brother rival.
I think that is all for now.
Jeez, English,
Merci
man.
for your time.
English.
Whatever you require, detective.
How did you know the victim?
I know that I don't think, or didn't think, a great deal of him. I'm just sorry I didn't get the chance to tell him what I thought.
The man has recently been murdered.
Someone must stand up to men like him, with their crooked dealings and lack of, well, any compassion at all.
Another rousing speech, monsieur.
It's the truth. If you knew what I know, maybe he wouldn't be dead, but behind bars instead.
Your connection to the family is through Demure.
Yes, Gideon invited me. If you will recall from our previous conversation, we have been working together and he thought now would be a good time to discuss matters.
To discuss business at the celebration of his engagement?
We're all here, so what better time? He thought Da Silva might even let his guard down, if he was in a more jubilant mood. It would be wise to not continue to ignore us any longer.
And what business was it that was so urgent?
We're trying to resolve the worker strikes. It has gone on long enough. Now is the time for him to listen to our demands so we can put an end to it all. Put the violence and upset behind us.
You seem to
Anger,
hold...
yes, but that's all. I wouldn't kill a man.
I didn't accuse you of
You
that.
must see why this leads me to have suspicions.
You can't honestly think I did it. I am a man of peace. I make changes with words, not with violence.
I barely mentioned the Major, and Monsieur Beckett becomes rather flustered and defensive. So are the plans for negotiation with Ernesto?
I am fighting for the basic rights of our workers, nothing more. If he can't see that, he is a lesser man than I already thought.
And where does Monsieur Gédéon fit into the negotiations? And his brother?
His brother? I didn't even know he had a brother until I arrived here. Gideon certainly hasn't talked much about him. I get the sense there's not much love lost between them.
And when was the last time you saw the Major?
Last I saw, he was outside having a cigar.
Oui, I spoke with him myself, but that was some time ago.
He does love a cigar. You'd have to stand out in those conditions. I could barely see him through the snow.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
More questions? I suppose so.
Yes, darling. This is how this works. Can you tell me more about your relationship with the deceased?
Felix, I didn't know him that well. We spoke a handful of times. I met him through Cassandra. I thought him to be rather pompous.
That's a nice way to put it.
But you remained polite, as any gentleman would.
Of course.
Of course. The Navy and the Mayor is very... I am yet to meet someone with a particularly positive view of him. Why don't you tell me more about your relationship with Madame?
What is there to say? She's a remarkable woman, and I admire her. Even after Edwin's death, she held herself with such poise.
Ooh.
It sounds as though you hold her in the highest regard.
Ooh, someone's got... We already knew that,
And
but...
why shouldn't I? Women these days could take a leaf out of her book on how to present themselves.
Yeah, no. You said you talked to the Major a few times. About what exactly?
He had approached me about doing some business together. I like to know who I'm getting into bed with first.
And you both went ahead with your business venture.
Not so much a business venture, more security related. But there is no need to discuss that any further.
Is there something you wish to remain hidden about your partnership, monsieur?
It was far from a partnership. I hired him to run security at my factories. If the workers were going to get violent, I wanted to make sure I was ready to protect my property.
So both you and the Major have been supportive of Madame over the years.
That is correct.
And the reason for your support was always of a purely platonic nature.
If you're trying to insinuate that I was expecting something in return, you can remove your head from the gutter.
Nah, no. It lives there. But thanks for asking.
I meant no offense. I'm only trying to understand the dynamic of your relationship.
Flies. Why is it fly season? I may need to approach this in a different matter. Perhaps I'll speak with the Comtesse on this.
Merci for your cooperation.
Yeah, but getting fucking anything out of her is like fucking
No
pulling
trouble
teeth.
at all. How can I help?
With the joining of the two families, the Major being around so much, I assume you knew him well.
I knew of him more than actually knowing him myself. In the past, he made his feelings towards my brother and I quite clear.
And that was not in a positive way.
I certainly wouldn't call trying to get Angeline to postpone the engagement positive.
I spoke with your brother earlier. He was certainly enjoying himself.
What do you mean?
I do not mean to pry, only I imagine the whole room was aware of his celebrating with a bottle.
You must be mistaken. Neither my brother nor I drink.
I do not know how he cannot have noticed the state his brother was in. Perhaps one does not see what one does not want to believe. How is your relationship with
We
your brother?
aren't the closest. But what brothers are?
I would argue that many are.
We've lived very different lives. Our priorities are different. He does not see things the way I do. There isn't much more to say.
There's clearly more to uncover here. I shall return to the matter when I have fuel that required to get the answer. I'd like to ask you about your work with the youth.
I have lent my voice to some discussions. I have tried to facilitate meetings. Just positive support.
Hi, Mike.
Does that positive support include
Honestly,
sending letters to those on the opposing side?
Really? I hate the ad break thing. Honestly, I feel like I'm one push from just snapping. I know that sounds probably really stupid to some people, but I feel like I've just reached my limit. And I'm pretty patient.
Detective Poirot, I'm not sure what you think I have done.
Monsieur, a letter has been found threatening the Major of what might happen if he does not act promptly, and now he has wound up dead.
That's okay.
You
Just
think my sending him a
A
letter
series of
warning him not to
unfortunate
get
events,
involved
one
means
right
I'm
after
mad at
another,
you?
sadly. But I knew this was going to kind of be difficult to transition to the new job, and I'm having a lot of feelings like I really miss my crew, and you know, just the simple, they seem very simple, but with my depression and ADHD, and like it's very overwhelming. I'm very overstimulated.
At this time, it is certainly reason for me to be suspicious.
I have been funding the strikes, Detective. These men
Thank
deserve
you.
fair treatment and a wage that fits the hard work they undertake every single day. The Major didn't see that. All he cared about was the money for his services, and that is all I care to discuss.
My peer sponsors that I was at least written with noble intentions, but he's still hesitant to talk more about the Major Association.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
It's always hard to explain to people when you're like, you're not necessarily overwhelmed, you're just like, your brain is going 50 to nothing, and you just want it to stop. And then I have a little shit dog, Coco, who I've been taking care of for a while. She got really sick, we got her back to health, she's back to her normal ways, and now she's back to eating Band-Aids, so she's gonna be backed up again.
I am all yours, detective.
And now I'm like stressed out that she's gonna get sick again. And all that fun stuff. Too much, yeah. And I really love my new job. I don't want anybody to think I don't love it. I really do. I enjoy it. Getting used to picking up as many 30 packs as I do now, that's a different story because those things are pretty heavy. I'm very anxious because I don't have a set schedule yet. Because my help that was supposed to be training with me this weekend, she can't start at the job. And it makes me sad because I don't know how long it will be until she can start. Did you ever speak with the Major about how he treated Madame?
Why would I actively choose to speak to that wretched man?
You were quite adamant of your protection of Madame. If he was as awful as you portrayed him to be, there must have been some words spoken, or perhaps written?
He was quite aware of how I felt towards him, and the lengths he has gone to remain close to the family. That is all that needs to be said.
That's why I chose this game tonight, because it's really just quiet. It's like more of being a story being told. Hi, Dragon.
I must admit, I would not want to be on the receiving end of your tongue's wrath, Countess.
Wise thinking, detective.
Except I am excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow's stream will be a little bit later. Tomorrow's Judy's 17-year anniversary at the store. So I put her together a booze basket of some stuff that my boss donated and a couple of things I still had at the house. And 17 years at one place doing what she does, that's incredible. So tomorrow I'm going to go down and see them, and I think it will lighten my mood a lot, because being able to see them and give them hugs, and went from seeing them every day to not seeing them almost a whole week now. I'm sure you've noticed Madame's absence.
I imagine she will have shed a tear for him, but she should not waste any more.
You don't think she would? Or you don't want her to?
I have made it quite clear what I think of that man, alive or dead. I would not want her to waste anything further on him.
I don't know who has the sharper tongue, Madame or the Comtesse. It's certainly a close race for first place. What is Madame and Monsieur's relationship?
What of it?
Do you believe there was something more to their friendship?
As I have said, detective, I am not one to gossip.
I would not even consider your name and that word in the same sentence.
But I feel silly because it's kind of like a secondhand gift, because I have a couple beers, I have a couple shots of Fireball, basket I've had forever, and then the only thing I'm going to stop and get is her favorite thing, which is scratch-off tickets. That woman loves scratch-off tickets, and I'm just going to buy her a couple and stick them in there too. I wanted her to feel special, because when I celebrated my 7-year anniversary at the store, Judy was the only one to tell me happy anniversary. She literally bought me my rock star for the day, told me happy anniversary, and then she said it all day long. So I want her to feel special too. Like I said, 17 years is a long time to be a produce manager. I think she was a cashier to start with, but moved into the produce manager position fairly quickly.
Because it is not gossip when it's the truth.
I'm not sure what that's exactly correct, but Comtesse has made a bold attempt to justify her wag-telling.
Why else do you think he would stay around for so long? Yes, he was a friend and partner to the Viscount, but it is plain to see it is Cassandra's partnership he longs for.
You have explained that the Major was trying to remain close to the family, but not why.
He was a disgusting leech that was driven only by money and power, like most men.
I can assure you not all men are concerned with such egotistical wealth.
And Dragon, did your sister have a very good birthday? I hope you guys had lots of fun, even though I bothered you today.
That may be, but they are few and far between. I believe you are a special case, Detective Poirot.
It is not the first time I have been described in such a way.
Embrace the compliment, Detective. You have set yourself apart from the horrid crétins that seem to somehow make their way into positions of authority and power.
And that is what the Major was doing? Using Madame Van den Bosch as his ladder to the top?
Hi, baby. Link. Hi, buddy. Oh, here comes the princess. With her food. She just brought a whole fucking mouthful of food and dropped it in the doorway. Okay, chickmunk. She did. Hard to do anything with her no matter where we went. She was only focused on when we were getting food. Locations were wasted on her, so to speak. Well, fair. But food is also important. I feel that, sis. I feel that.
You are finally seeing the man he was. A weak and self-indulgent social climber.
Well, the pictures were beautiful. The Comtesse has certainly opened my eyes to the Major's true ambition with the Bosch family. I wonder if Madame herself is aware of his greed and hunger and social recognition. I am
Merci,
sure she
Comtesse.
is.
If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
Let's talk to Jacqueline.
You
Jackie,
came to the right place. What do you need?
what do you know of the victim?
I know that he was not the good and honest man he liked to think he was.
Really?
In what sense?
If you spoke to him for longer than 5 minutes, you'd know. I've met people in dark alleys I trust before him.
That's kind of scary.
And on the occasions when you did speak with him, what was discussed?
I'm sorry, Poirot. If you're looking for a deep-seated secret between me and him, you're going to be disappointed.
Mademoiselle Conway is wise in the nature of question. She knows exactly what and what not to say. This nut may be harder to crack than first expected. As you previously speaking with him, I assume you know Monsieur Becker's as well then.
That man has got some real anger issues. I get why he's frustrated. He's trying his best for the workers, but holding on to rage like that, something's gonna burst.
A man suppressing his anger and murdered body. Most amateur detectives could see the connection. You seem to know a great deal about everyone. What can you tell me about Ernesto and the Madame?
If you think you can use me as some sort of gossip machine, you are sorely mistaken.
I can assure you it is not a case of gossiping. At this point, everything may be relevant to my investigation.
So I would be helping you potentially solve a crime? You should have said that off the bat. To say he's smitten is an understatement. I reckon he's been wanting her for years.
I see. Madame does not feel the same?
Doesn't look like it. If she did, she would have said something about it, right?
Well, honey. I'm in 2023 and I'm still scared to talk to men that I'm interested in. Because normally the men I'm interested in, I talk to them just like normal. And then they're like, well, if I would have known, bitch, I didn't know how to tell you. I'm sorry. Like, okay, so not every woman's gonna be like, boy, I'm taking you home. If I was gonna do that, I'd be like, Mike, I'm coming over, we're fucking having tacos. End of discussion. But it doesn't work out that way. Did you sort out the job? No. Oh, so he finally sent me the pay stub. But he didn't pay out any of my vacation. So I had to call him, tell him he didn't pay out all my vacation, and now my check will be delayed until tomorrow morning. Which I knew was his intention the whole fucking time. That's the part that makes me mad. What are your thoughts on the Comtesse? I appreciate your opinion on her.
I don't know if you really would. She's got a mouth the size of Texas, except when it comes to truths about her. She wants everyone to think that she's the savior of these girls at the shelter. But there's a side to her I don't think anyone gets to see.
And what side is that?
One that she is keeping tucked away under her very expensive dress.
Fair. I can only see a work at the women's shelter as positive. Even if the reason is starting to come from a selfish place. The work they do cannot be scoffed at.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci.
Okay, so before we start making the rounds to talk to everybody again, let's do some connections. Oh, we only have 2, so that's nice.
I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps a second look at the...
this connect to this?
I must act on
Okay, see,
thought
this
and
is where I
fact,
get
not
confused. Because ones I think they should be together. Like, clues that I think should be together or not together. It's very, 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 very. It's very weird.
Things are beginning to
Okay.
become clearer.
So that made sense. That one actually made sense. Hugo complains to be calmed down since his argument with Major, but Jackie disputed this. To glide about hills. Okay. And maybe this one? Because that would
What
confirm
a
those.
revelation.
Okay, so I think I'm getting the groove. I think I'm getting the groove. I don't know why I thought I needed to fucking sing groove of all things. I'm weird. It's fine. It's fine. Right? Okay, so we need to talk to Ernesto, Zachariah, and the Comtesse again. So let's start here.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
Your relation with your brother, it seems everyone has an opinion.
That doesn't surprise me, and yet no one actually asks.
I am asking now.
I should have expected that, shouldn't I? What is there to say? We used to be close, but not so much anymore.
I would find it very helpful if you could at least elaborate on
What
your
are you
relationship.
doing? Besides being a pain in the ass. I would turn on my camera and show everybody what you're doing, but my bra's in the middle of the floor and I'd get banned on Twitch.
He went to school, got an education, and was the apple of our father's eye. I went to war. See the difference now.
So the only downside, this is gonna sound really silly, this is like really off topic and I don't even care. That's how my brain's working today. So I actually have to wear a bra to work because I go into coolers and some of those coolers are cold. So when I turned around to look at Coco, I'm like, what's that thing on the middle of the floor? And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. I threw that shit off as soon as I got home. What do you know of your brother's work with the Union?
If you want to know about Gideon's part in the Union, why don't you ask him?
So, you are aware of his support for them?
Yes, well, he...
Oui, monsieur?
It'd be best to just ask him.
Monsieur either doesn't know much of what his brother does or he's protecting him rather coyly.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
More questions? I suppose so.
Yes. Apologies for the insistent questions on the subject, but you and Madame?
Mademoiselle Conrad was quick to talk of your hidden feelings towards her. Perhaps only hidden to Madame Vandenbosch herself.
Oh, is he gonna get mad?
What has this got to do with the Major's death? Does Cassandra know you have spoken to others about this? I have only tried to help her.
I'm merely asking a question. There's no reason to panic. It would greatly help me if you would answer honestly. I'm not accusing you of anything, but you can...
There may be some feelings there, but Madame Vandenbosch does not know of them, and I trust that it will remain that way.
Oh, I'm sure she knows.
Merci for your cooperation.
I'm pretty damn sure she knows.
No trouble at all. How can I help?
I'd like to talk to you more about your brother.
I believe there are more important matters at hand than talking about my brother and I's relationship, or lack thereof.
The murderer is in his house, and by holding back information that may help my investigation, you only make me suspicious of your involvement. Monsieur Demir, if you continue to withhold information, I can only assume you are hiding something, and must treat you as a prime suspect
Why
in the
did
Major's
they have
murder.
to make his, like, face look like that?
I have nothing to hide. If you must know, we have not been on the best terms for years now. As I said, we are different people. He does not see the importance of planning for the future. And as much as my parents tried, they could not make him see that.
He still believes
Oh,
that
shit.
now.
I assume so. We barely talk anymore. I was hoping we would be able to sit down and talk and leave the past behind.
So did anybody
Yes,
do
indeed,
anything
everyone found out.
interesting today? Besides, Dragon went on a cute little trip. That was so cute. Anybody else
If
do
you would
anything
be so
exciting?
kind as to
Did you have a
stay
good day
here,
at work?
I may require your help further.
I walked into a mess at work this morning. My first store was just rough because I couldn't get anybody to bring my pallet down. But the second store, it looked like someone... I don't know what the hell happened. It was a mess. It was so bad. There was other beers in our spot. There was just stuff everywhere. I found a diaper on the shelf in the cooler. I used one. And you know what? If I had a nickel for every time I found a used diaper in a shelf, I'd have 2 nickels, which is way more than I should.
I am all yours, detective.
Push on the Major's aggression towards Cassandra.
Countess, you gave me the impression
Okay,
the
we're gonna push
Major
on
and the
her.
Madame were close. But there were times where he acted rather aggressively to her, n'est-ce pas?
I am sorry, detective, but I did not mean to give you such an impression.
I've already built a rapport with Comtesse. Some may even say in a flirtatious manner. Perhaps if I continue to charm her, she will reveal. It's obviously Ooh. Let's go with the flattering.
Ever the charmer, detective. I would talk more on it, but I'm afraid Cassandra would think I am talking about her behind her back.
Comtesse has something more to say, but she still holds back. Something tells me it's more to do with receiving attention. Perhaps I can use that to my addition. You obviously care a great deal about Madame. Assisting me will clear her of any wrongdoing. Is that what you want for her, isn't it?
It is not often I am swayed so easily. I
Ooh,
applaud
we picked
you
2
on
of the
your
correct
willingness
answers.
and persistence. From day one, I was wary of his intentions. And it was not long before he showed
Don't
his
run.
true colors.
Huh? So the reason we had the plumber come, the problem is not fixed. So I'm gonna have to go clean up
If it is
Water
a
in
tear
the
she
basement here
sheds,
soon.
it should be one of joy that he is out of her life.
I understand your feelings towards the Major, but perhaps there was...
He was a bully. He took his shortcomings out on her, and she sat there and accepted it. I never thought I would see the day. Perhaps now she will be able to see the man he truly was. Karma will always catch up to you.
Oh, we got a secret memory.
Merci, Countess. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
I'm sure there's nobody else to talk to. Alright, let's connect some dots here. We have 2.
Some would say
Okay,
a
that
lucky
one
guess.
makes sense.
I would...
Brothers are unlikely. Not sure. Maybe this too?
This will
Nope.
not get me any closer to my goal. Is there something...
I'm not. See, this is where I get confused. Coco? What are you doing? I don't know. My brain. Oh, see, I always do that. I mean to zoom out and then I back out.
Come, my little grey cells.
Oh, really?
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Unless it denies Cassandra's more than a friend.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
I'm glad they're becoming. He claims not to be close with his brother, but he still seeks to withhold the information about him. I had my own opinion than the Major, one that is wiser to keep to myself, but I did not expect so many like-minded thinkers. I should think on what I have heard in my quarters.
My time with the guests is complete, for tonight, at least.
Do you know who killed Major Hagen?
I am afraid it is not as simple as that. There are many steps that lead to the truth. I must think on everything I have heard this evening and dissect the truths from the lies. Merci for your assistance this evening. Au revoir.
Came here to expecting to solve a case of blackmail to relieve a family of burden that is weighed upon them, overshadowed by a joyous celebration. Okay, so I have never been to an engagement celebration where death has taken center stage before. Although the guests' alibis confirm each other's, I still cannot rule out the possibility of one of them being involved in the Major's death. The relationship between some of the guests and the Major were more than rocky. Dislike towards him was plentiful. but enough to drive someone to murder? This is now the perfect opportunity to think about everything I've heard today. Oh god. Reach a conclusion based on what you... I have all the information I need. I must compile. Okay. Okay, let's start here because we know that one.
Another success.
She wants dirt.
When
I first overheard the conversation, it seemed Hugo was trying to get Jackie to listen. Jackie pushing for dirt. So maybe this? This?
Is there something I am not?
No. I thought maybe. See, this is the part I struggle.
I must take a different approach if I am to uncover.
He's trying to do negotiations.
I must act on thought and fact, not on impulse.
Gideon the Major and Gideon wrote the letter. Oh.
The pieces of the
See, I
puzzle
wouldn't
are
put those
finally
together.
coming together.
The history with the Major combined with the threats of his well-being definitely showed intent.
This will not get.
Oops. Lost audio. Hold on. God, you know, I'd love it one day where I didn't have to fix any of my stuff once. That day will eventually come, but it's not today.
Come, my little gray cells.
See, when I think that should be it, it's not it. It's very confusing. Vice to the Major.
Magnifique.
Okay, so that one goes together. I thought that would. The letter she sent protecting Cassandra was threatening indeed. Jackie seems unable to determine her secret. Motivation protection. Jackie doesn't seem to have. The motivation is.
I cannot see the logic in this.
Maybe this one?
I should not be
Okay.
surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Blinded by both love and greed, he may have struck down his opposition. So,
Order and method. That. order and method. That is the way. I must take a different approach if I am to uncover the truth.
See, everything I think it is, it's not it.
Some would say a lucky guess.
See, I would have never thought that was
I would say a
it.
moment of genius.
All the guests have at least one other guest to confirm their alibi. Who could that be at this time?
Entrez.
There's a killer loose.
Detective, I'm sorry I did not join you in the salon as requested.
Please, mademoiselle. There is no need to apologize.
I was with Maman in her room. She would not allow anyone to see it, but I could see she was terribly upset.
Most understandable.
Do you have any suspicions as to who could have killed him?
I'm afraid my suspicions extended across all of the party's guests. While it seems as though their alibis all corroborate one another's, the disdain and hostility towards the Major makes them rife with motive.
I know there was some bad blood between the Major and some of the guests, but not enough to kill him, surely. She may seem tough on the exterior, but she's really quite kind when you get to know her.
The Countess? She is a formidable force I would not want to come up against.
Don't be silly, detective. She wouldn't hurt a soul. Jacqueline, I mean.
Mademoiselle Conrad, she's now in fact the least suspicious until now.
I assume that's who you were talking about, detective, after what happened between them.
That is a story I have yet to hear.
She must have told you about the piece she was writing on us, about Gideon's work and our marriage.
Somehow that was the only thing she did not mention.
Oh.
That's strange. I thought that is what she would have started the conversation with. Well, she had come to the house to interview me, and when I entered the library, she was there with Felix amid a rather heated conversation.
Do you know what this conversation regarded?
I'm afraid not, but Felix was quite enraged. He picked up an envelope from the table and stormed out, slamming the door behind him.
And Mademoiselle Conrad?
She was equally heated in the moment. She had a few choice words for him that I wouldn't care to repeat.
Oh. Okay. Hold on. How's Madame feeling now?
Better, thank you, detective. She's resting in her room. It is the best place for her.
And you, mademoiselle?
I'm not quite sure. It is a rather surreal feeling. I did not think I would miss him like I do.
It is understandable. He has been a close friend to your maman for many years.
And to me, detective. We had grown close. After father's passing, he was always there for me. And now, he's gone as well.
You must try and not think on it like that.
It is easier said than done, detective.
True.
I have no doubt, but you can be assured the culprit will not remain at large for long. You have my word.
If you were in my position, Mademoiselle, who would be at the top of your suspect list?
I'm sorry, but I just can't imagine any of them committing such a heinous crime.
Coco.
It can often be hard to look past one's personal feelings for someone and see their flaws.
I know Coco's like, hey, this is when we're trying to get ready for Bad Mom. What the hell are you doing?
It's not that, detective. It's just they have known each other for years. Why would any of them act now?
I was under the impression the Major had merely a business relationship with some of the guests.
That's true. But those invited know each other, some of them for years. They may not seem like it, but some are even friends. I should return to my room now, detective. It has been a trying day for us all.
Oui, mademoiselle. I am afraid tomorrow may bear a resemblance, but I will not stop until I have found his killer.
I am certainly glad you are here, detective.
When and where a detective is required, that is where I shall be. Bonne nuit, mademoiselle.
Mademoiselle has left me with an interesting thought, one I have not considered until now. While at first glance the guests do not appear show much fondness for each other, Mademoiselle is quite sure that's not the case. Perhaps I must consider looking at the guests together, not individually. No, you guys are not. You guys are not. Is this inspiration for the Murder on the Orient Express? No, you guys did not. You did not go there. If you've not seen that movie or have not read that book, do it. What are you doing with your life?
What a revelation.
I doubt Jackie's involvement with the murder, but now I'm doubting dubious of her.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
We're only probably going to stream for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to go to bed. We'll stream a little bit longer tomorrow. We'll either do Dragon Age, or we'll finally go back to Tears of the Kingdom, because I had a little bit of Zelda burned out. Now I have all the movements from the guests. Who's under suspicion? They all seem suspicious, that's the problem.
Come, my little grey cells. We must think logically. I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps a second look at the evidence in front of... Is there something I am not seeing?
Obviously. Oh, I wouldn't see it. That's another thing. I wouldn't have connected those two ever. I do not know who I can trust, whose stories I can believe. Are the guests innocent?
This will not get me any closer to my goal.
Well, the problem is they're all very suspicious.
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
I'm like, there has to be a reason the guests have known each other. I now doubt now how trustworthy their stories may be. They may well be covering for each other. There's no physical way one of the guests could have killed the Major and returned to the party. Unless that is where I am mistaken. It's not one guilty party. I should be looking for rather multiple. How could I have not considered that the Major's death was part of a ploy created and executed by more than one and only guest? He came almost as an epiphany, following Mademoiselle Angeline's remark about the guest's shared past. Perhaps Mademoiselle will become the trusted ally that I needed to sense my essential catching the guilty parties. Tonight's questioning was only the beginning. I will allow my suspects to sleep on their stories, and we will see how they fare tomorrow. Perhaps one of those involved will have morals enough to show a glimmer of regret. Considering they may be working together, I cannot be sure who has told the truth and who has attempted to sell me down. Perhaps I should sleep on the matter. A good night's sleep will surely bring a new dawn of thinking, and what better setting to do so than peaceful falling blanket of snow that surrounds us all. Although, it seems not everyone has the same idea. Someone's walking out in the snow? The Secret. Chapter 5. Redless sea combined with the image of an eerie figure in the snow has only convoluted what low gray cells must consider. Should not expect this to be a simple case. I've been lied to at least one of the guests. Their alibis all confirm each other's, but I know this is not to be true. Okay, investigate the Major's involvement with the blackmail. The Major was involved with the blackmail. It eludes me for now.
Good morning, Detective. You slept well?
I'm afraid I did not. I was hoping for at least a moment of pleasant slumber, but alas, it was not to be. Finding the Major's killer is the only thing that will put my mind at ease.
In that case, Detective, what can I do to help?
While I was watching the snowfall last night, I swear there was a figure standing in the garden.
In that snow? If someone was out there, we'd have another body on our hands.
I realize how strange it sounds. I would not believe it myself if I had not seen it with my own eyes.
Staff have reported seeing things in the dark before, but it always just turns out to be shadows. It was likely just your mind playing tricks.
I did not see Mademoiselle Elizabeth last night.
I'm afraid our Lizzie is not well. I think the events of yesterday were too much for her. We'll have to just make do without her this morning.
As Wordsworth once stated, rest and be thankful. Perhaps a chance of peace and relaxation will work wonders.
I would also like to speak to Madame at her earliest convenience.
She is currently eating breakfast alone in the dining room. It's how she prefers it. But if you wish to speak with her now...
It is important I speak with her, but perhaps it would be allowed till I finish. I don't want to upset her before I even ask my first question. I could investigate the garden for any evidence from the figure last night. Would you permit me access to the house telephone?
I would, but I'm afraid I found this morning that the telephone lines aren't working. The snow continued through the night and must have damaged them. Even if we could use the telephone, I don't think anyone would be able to reach us.
In that case, it will be up to myself alone to solve the case.
I'll let you know if anything changes. But until some of the snow clears, enough for the carriages to arrive, we are snowed in.
Really? Although I'm not able to call upon leave the house to find help from local authorities, it also means none of the guests are able to leave. What are you doing, Boo? The Major's body.
Taken care of. Master Dramir and his brother, after sobering up, helped me move him into the cellar. Best
Getting on
place
the
for
bed?
the time being.
Très bien. I imagine there is no reason for anyone to go down there.
Besides me, no one. Once this snow clears, we will be able to move him from the house.
Coco, quit licking the ground. Do you need to go potty? Is that why you're doing circles? Okay. Let me
Your
exit
assistance
this
has
real
been
fast.
most valuable as
I'll be
always.
right back, guys. She's circling. I think she's gotta go potty. Alright. So the joys of Coco eating her band-aid is she's very constipated, so I have to give her pumpkin. So when she wants to go potty, we go potty. Oh, we have the mademoiselle to talk to. Can we talk to her?
Good morning, Detective. I hope you were comfortable last night.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. The room was more than pleasant, merci. I'm afraid my mind was not in a state to enjoy it to its full potential, though.
I can't imagine any of us slept soundly last night.
Hopefully, guilt will be weighing heavily on someone's shoulders this morning.
Coco, quit looking at the floor.
I'm sorry if I was not much help last night, Detective.
On the contrary, your inside knowledge of the guests was of great help to my investigation. But there are many more questions that require answers.
What were your feelings towards the Major's position in the house?
His position? You mean about him living here?
Oui, even in a house this size, you must see a lot of each other.
I enjoyed having him here. When I was away with Gideon, it was comforting to know Maman was not alone. Although his work with Mr. Da Silva has kept him away from the house of late.
What can you tell me about their relationship, working or otherwise?
There is not much to tell, only that there is no love lost between them.
Do you know what their business entailed?
He was always quite private about his work. I know that he was helping Mr. Da Silva with some safety matters.
I found a check addressed to the Major from Monsieur Da Silva. It noted security consulting.
Ah, that's right, security. With his military training, he helped Mr. Da Silva prepare for any trouble with the strikes.
Coco.
A development? Oh, Detective, I knew I could count on you.
It may not be the news you had wished for, though. Another letter has been found.
Addressed to me? I don't know how much more I can take of this.
Pardonnez-moi, mademoiselle. Although it has been written in the same manner, using similar phraseology, it was not sent for your eyes, rather the Major's. Or at least that is how it seems.
I'm sorry, Detective, I don't understand. It is addressed to him or not?
I found it in the Major's study yesterday while conducting my preliminary search. Whether he is the author of the letter or the recipient, I am still yet to discover.
Could the Major have been behind the black belt?
Heavens no. He could not do that.
You did not hesitate for a moment.
Why would he do such a thing? And then to send a letter to himself. It just doesn't make sense.
Merci for your time, mademoiselle. You are to a detective what an umbrella is to a traveler on a wet day.
Useful?
Exactement.
Okay, let's go outside. Because I have a feeling the more finding evidence of the figure last night will, one hand, confirm I'm not seeing things that Mr. Sterling has suggested, but on the other hand, pose even more questions that must be answered. Well made lighter, with the insignia of the military regiment. The Major must have dropped it. I don't know how far we're supposed to go. has been left out for collection. I cannot see anyone making it through the snow, though.
Ah,
This is completely snowed. It does not look like we shall be going anywhere anytime soon. I do like that you can explore. It's almost disappeared and so I doubt we'll see too many birds in these conditions. This is a big lump of snow. Inspect the garden. It still says there's something else here. Garden tools have been left out, presumably before the snow. Still says inspect the garden, so we're missing something. Oh, I thought maybe something happened. No, I just got stuck.
oh,
Small trail of footprints to lead in the snow. The major was seen walking here yesterday. The snow is still falling. I'm hardly dressed for the occasion. Perhaps Madame has finished her breakfast and ready to answer my questions. She probably is not, because she's a bitch. While I must speak with Madame, I should also take this opportunity to talk to Mademoiselle Renata in the kitchen. Alright, let's get witchy woman out of the way first.
bonjour, madame. May I offer my condolences for your loss?
Thank you, Detective, but they are not necessary. What can I do for you?
I was hoping you would be prepared to answer some questions.
If I must.
Why would someone want to kill the major?
I'm sure you're aware he was not the easiest man to get along with. His hot temper made him a number of foes.
A hot temper is reason enough to kill a man.
His mouth often acted before his brain. Perhaps someone had grown tired of dealing with it.
You suggested why someone might kill him, but who do you believe would do it?
Seeing as I heard Mr. Becker's in what I would describe as an unnecessarily loud exchange of words yesterday, he would be my first suspect.
You heard them yourself.
How could I not? The volume they were shouting at, I could hear them from the study in my room.
You did not think it fitting to tell me this yesterday?
I didn't think Felix was going to wind up dead and a murderer loose in my house. My apologies, Detective.
Although I must learn more of this argument, it's not Madame that I expect the answers to come from, rather Beck's. A letter was found in the major study.
I assume you are talking about the supposed blackmail letter.
Oui, madame. You know of it?
It arrived shortly after the first. Rather coincidental, if you ask me.
I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to say, madame.
He no doubt had secrets hidden away. But do you honestly think Felix had anything of value to his name worth threatening him for?
Perhaps you should enlighten me.
Well, he was here, living in my house, eating my food, prepared by my staff. Does that answer your question, Detective?
How do you think the major came to have this letter?
I wouldn't put it past him to have written it himself, in the hopes of getting some sympathy from me.
And the other letters?
He probably wrote those too. If Angeline paid the first, that would have given him the money to pay the second letter. He is the White Knight, saves the day, and expects to live here happily ever after.
The did not expect the Madame to be so blunt with her thoughts towards the Major. I was under the impression they were more to the friendship, not less. It's quite a nefarious plan the Madame has laid out for the Major. I'm not sure I can believe he would go to such levels to deceit. I'm sure Mademoiselle Angeline would have an opinion on the matter. I'd like to ask you about... Oh.
What is it you wish to know?
You two have been friends for some time now. And while I do not mean to pry, has your relationship only...
If you are trying to insinuate that Mr. De Silva and I are running around like schoolchildren, you could not be further from the truth. He was friends with my husband, for goodness sake.
Oui, I understand they worked together. Investments, if I am correct.
Mr. De Silva was the voice of reason that my husband should have listened to more often, instead of throwing our money at businesses that were already on the verge of bankruptcy.
Merci, madame. I shall not bother you any further. Ah.
It extends further. Oh. I didn't realize I wasn't reading that. My bad, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Oh, we've heard that one a million times now.
Aha.
I wonder how many travel. Oh. I want one of those. Like, so that sounds like a really silly, a very random and very silly thing, but I've always wanted one of those globes. Always. And I think it was the archaeologist in me that always wants one of those, because it's in a lot of things. There's one in the Mummy. Cook has obviously using them for cuts and touches by the condition. If you understand what I mean. Like, so today I literally, since I was waiting for the plumber, I was just scrolling through YouTube shorts and watched so many history stuff, and I'm just like, oh, I was in heaven. Does not seem to be anything of interest here. Okay, well, if we don't try. Besides, I'm nosy. That's what I do. I'm a detective.
Bonjour, madame. You must be the wonderful cook.
Wonderful and modest, sir. I am Rihanna.
Rihanna.
My taste buds thank you for the ravishing meal last night. It has been some time since I ate so well.
Glad to hear it, sir.
S'il te plaît, madame. A detective is fine.
In that case, mademoiselle is fine for me, and I will ignore your presumption of marriage.
Très bon, mademoiselle.
That's right. I've seen staff call...
Really? You've met all the characters in the game. Oh. She must have been the last character we hadn't met. So hold on. Apparently that broke my audio.
I agree. But if I was to eat what you prepare every day, I fear I may be the size of La Maison.
Not a bad thing, detective. You could do with some meat on your bones.
Well, with the snow still not clearing, we may be stuck here for the weekend. Perhaps I should look to adjust my pantalon buttons.
I understand you took some ice to the Major yesterday?
I did. Monsieur Archie told me what had happened. Bruises can swell fast, so I took him some ice to bring it down.
Strange, Monsieur Stilling told me the Major requested the ice.
How was the Major when you saw him?
Grumpy, as always.
I suppose one would not take kindly to being punched as he was.
Punched or not, he was as ungrateful as ever.
I shall not keep you any longer. Merci, mademoiselle.
I've gathered all I need from Madame and Mademoiselle. I should return to the Great Hall. Okay. Why? questions. Questions. I have questions, not croissants. Now I really want to watch The Murder on the Orient Express. I just watched that the other day. It's a TV show, so I'm shooked. I know, I love the TV show. Love the TV show. And I just literally watched The Murder on the Orient Express the other day. This is when he was a baby.
You guys have fun.
Baby.
I hate to be this guy, but this is probably the game that I've seen the most
on 'em.
females play, and I'm actually happy for that.
Okay.
It's good to see more like women play games. It's good.
Gosh, that was actually a nice compliment. When I played Overwatch, I never got nice compliments. What is this clip? I have no idea. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, and that's a backhanded compliment. I know. At least you got a backhanded one. I'd always get, do you even know how to play Mercy? 150 hours of Mercy. No, I don't know how to fucking play her. Why don't you, the Genji player, tell me how to play her? You don't know how to do anything, huh? Okay, so. Said they didn't thank her. Okay, so 2 connecting. The only thing, I got a question for the price. I don't know. That's fair. I haven't had that one yet. Boy, it'd probably be very, very expensive depending on who it is. I was gonna be a smartass, but shush, just. See, tired brain does not work. Okay, so maybe those 2 together.
Another success. I never doubted myself.
So I've had this game in my queue for a long time, and then I just saw an announcement. Not only are we getting a new movie, but we're getting another one of these games. So I'm like, well, I better get my shit together and play this game. Angelina and Cassandra have different impressions of the Major. There must be a reason for this. Okay, so we're actually right next to her, so we're going to talk to her first. So my brain can take a break from that.
Is there something I can help you with, detective?
Yeah, my mom did not describe. My mom did not describe her friendship with the Major in such a positive light.
You have got the wrong end of the stick, detective. Maman has snapped at him recently, but it was nothing more than that. It was something to do with the letter. I heard them in the library before Maman shouted and he stormed out of the room past me.
Could it have been the blackmail letter that instigated their argument?
Why would Maman be upset with him over the letter?
Madame is of a very different opinion from yourself regarding his connection with the letters. She believes him to be the author.
Also, I completely forgot. Oh, you're good, baby. I don't have that many viewers, but I know a good streamer when I see them, and I will shout them out. And someone that's very fun to play games with. Which I need to play Sea of Thieves with you so I can show you my new cat.
That is what she told you? She has always been one to make a quick, if not rash decision, but she cannot truly believe that.
Was the Major aware you had paid the first blackmail letter?
I don't recall telling him directly. I did not want Maman to find out it had been paid. If he knew, surely she would.
Good, because we do have a new Tall Tale coming on the 31st, so we'll have to do a run through of that too.
Madame believes he may have been behind all the letters, and taking your payment of the first, then used it to pay the second and be the hero in you and your mother's eyes.
I never knew Maman had such an imagination. Where would she get a story like that from?
Well, hopefully you're safely traveling, and it's for good reason. I can't. You were talking about it the other day, but I could not remember if it was for a good reason or if it was for anything unpleasant. unpleasant. I say that like it's a bad thing. But anytime I hear one of my friends say they're traveling, they're going to funerals or weddings, which I don't know which one's worse, the funeral or the wedding. I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression. Will look forward to eventually getting married and stuff like that, but I don't like going to weddings. So let me rephrase this so nobody gets the funeral. So thankfully that's not very nice. So let me rephrase that. I always feel awkward at weddings because I'm like, what do I do? You know, like, do I do anything? Do I just stand here? Do I just... Man. Well, at least that's the fun part. Yeah, weddings, like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure all of us dream of a wedding. Even guys, and I know guys will never admit it. But there's something about going to a wedding that is so awkward. You're like, you understand why they want to share this moment with you, but you're also like, but I already knew your guys' feelings and your love and blah 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 blah. You get what I mean. I hope everybody understands what I'm getting at.
That is a question I was hoping you may be able to answer.
You have met him. Do you really think he's capable of such a devious plan?
No.
It is a plan only the most crooked and underhanded could create. Is that the Major? I am not so sure.
There's more, I think, on the Madame story, the more ridiculous and obscure it sounds, but it does not mean it can be ruled out. True.
I shall not keep you any longer.
Nothing can be ruled out.
Mademoiselle.
Okay, so what do we got going on here? Okay, so now we have another thing to connect.
I must act on thought.
Why is my audio? Dude, I swear to goodness. One of these days I'll go through a whole stream and not have a single audio issue. One of these days. So the only thing, like, I've actually really enjoyed this game. The only thing I do not like is this. Because I played Sherlock Holmes, the chapter 1. And if you guys haven't played that, or like Sinking City or something, play them. They're actually really fun once you get the groove of them. They're really fun. But this one, sometimes the what you think is the clues that connect are definitely not. It leads you in that direction, and then it's like, no, it's more simple than that, or it's more complex than that. There's no in between, which sucks. Okay, so the Major had a temper. Damn, what's his name? Bonnie. Okay, we haven't talked to Gideon. So maybe it was this and this?
I must take a different approach if I am to uncover the truth.
I did the same one. See, I told you, because what looks like would be obvious. Don't tell me it's this and that. Oh, no, it's not. Okay.
This will not get me any closer to my goal.
Ones see, like this right here. So it tells you right now. This and this I would not even connect. Doesn't make any sense for them to be connected.
I cannot see the logic in this.
Oh, apparently it's not. Now it's this and this. Okay, so that makes more sense. Okay, it's like,
magnifique.
That doesn't make any sense. That's because I didn't see that one down there. One can't be surprised with Angelina and Felix Bond. He has been a figure in her life for so long. True, because when we did the first case, everything. And then Cassandra wasn't happy with Major.
Another success.
See, like, why
I
is
never
Gideon
doubted
paying
myself.
off the first blackmail letter and Cassandra being mad at the Major the same thing? I wonder if the blackmail had a greater effect on the relationship than expected. So now we gotta talk to Angeline again. Thank goodness we didn't go very far.
Is there something I can help you with, detective?
Was the arrival of the blackmail letter what caused the tension between Madame and Major's
I'm
relationship?
afraid it had been that way for some time. Maman is not forthcoming with her emotions, as I'm sure you are aware. But I could tell she had not been happy with their arrangement for the last few months.
What gave you that impression?
There was not one particular thing that she expressed. It was just the way she spoke to him and of him when he wasn't present.
I shall not keep you any longer.
Okay, the plot
Merci,
thickens.
mademoiselle.
Just like Coco. Coco thickens. Coco. She's waiting for me to go to bed. Because she's mad at me. Since I had started a new job, I've been going to bed a little bit earlier because
Bonjour,
I've been
Monsieur
getting up so
Danier.
early. Well, I have tomorrow off. So, I'm like, yeah, let's fit in a short little stream, you know. See how far we can get. And she's like, not having it. She's not happy with me. Bonjour.
Detective Poirot, how are you?
The truth, monsieur. With each step towards uncovering the blackmailer, I am thrown 2 steps back as to the identity of the Major's killer.
Is there something I can help you with?
After investigating the crime scene yesterday, I asked Monsieur Sterling to move the body.
Archibald came to me and asked for my help in the matter. My brother and I dealt with it.
Merci for your help. It is a job that only the professionals should have to undertake.
It's a job that had to be done, although it may have affected my brother more than I.
How so?
At the sight of the body, the color drained from his face. Once we had reached the cellar, Zachariah took himself straight off to bed, without even a good night.
Okay. While in the study, I noticed the Major's safe was locked. Would you know who has access?
Felix and Madame Vandenbosch are the only ones with keys, as far as I'm aware. Oh, and Archibald. I'm sure I heard Felix asking him to return something to it once.
I wonder why Monsieur Sterling did not mention this previously. Have you spoken to your brother this
I
morning?
have not seen him since last night. I'm sure he will have been fine after a good night's sleep.
Someone was just murdered in the house, and your concern is not to go check on your drunk brother. See, I've read a few Agatha Christie books. Maybe all of them, and this is not a good idea, bud. It's just never a good idea. Now I really want to watch The Murder on the Orient Express. I need to take time to watch it, and then I haven't seen the new Death on the Nile. And then we get the, the Venice one. Why did I just forget what it's called? Because I'm dumb. I imagine the alcohol would act as a sleeping aid. See, when I drink to that point and get drunk, I can't sleep. I'm up and
He
down.
does not need his younger brother checking in on him.
Perhaps that is exactly what he requires.
I'm not sure what he told you yesterday, Detective, but he's a big boy. He can look after himself.
I worry that may not be the case, monsieur. His time in the war came up in conversation more than once during our conversations.
See, once again, we're back to the whole point.
He's still talking about it. I thought talking to the doctor would have stopped all of that.
Merci, monsieur.
So... she... Is it these two?
Things are beginning
so
to become clearer.
I have heard of men returning physically from war, but their minds remain on the battlefield. We need to talk to Gideon.
If it will help you find the Major's killer, of course.
Your brother was seeing a doctor?
When he returned from the war, he was a different man. Everything became about what he had seen.
I cannot speak from experience, but I can only imagine the horrors he must have witnessed.
The first weeks he would wake in the night, screaming. I found him one night, cowering behind the desk in the study. When I tried to help him out from beneath it, well, it was the first time I had ever
That's why
feared
the
for my life.
relationship is rocky.
That is not why you two are no longer close?
Not at all, Detective. We were always very different in nature. While I had always wanted to follow an academic path, Zachariah was more of a free spirit. Or at least as free as our father and the laws would allow.
And yet, he ended up in the military. Quite the contrast.
Our father demanded that he at least try to do something with his life. And when some of his friends joined the army, he signed up with them. It wasn't long before he moved out from the
I
family
wanna watch
home
Miss Marple
after his
too.
return from the army. I always assumed that he had put the war and everything that came with it behind him and was moving on. But now I see that is far from the truth.
God, at this point, we're gonna have to do a movie day in the Discord because I keep thinking about all this stuff. Okay, so let's talk to... I think we just need to talk to everyone. Start talking to everybody.
Countess, I wonder if I could ask you some questions.
That is it, detective? No small talk? No inflating of one's ego?
I am afraid not, Countess. With the murderer still loose in the house, my mind is rather preoccupied.
Flirt away with her.
Well then, detective, perhaps I can be of some assistance.
She wants you to flirt, but...
Comment, madame?
I thought you might like to know what I found on the Major's body.
The man who...
That certainly piqued your interest.
A man has been murdered, and you find it acceptable to fool around and joke.
Oh, please, detective. Do you really think so little of me? Archibald asked for my assistance. He knows of my medical training from my days as a nurse, and I thought I would be able to help. Even if it has been some years.
It was not his place to grant you access to the body.
I shall remember to keep my assistance to myself next time.
What did you discover on the
A
body?
single stab wound, which you no doubt already knew. The knife was held in their right hand. I would say their predominant hand.
Pride myself on order and method. This is far from either. A suspect in a murder investigation has examined the very victim they're suspected of killing. It is something like out of a crime novel. Really? Are we breaking the fourth wall there, buddy?
Judging by the depth of the wound, I would say there was no great force put into the strike. More a sign of defense than attack. If I had to say what weapon was used, a small sharp knife or dagger.
This may confirm my suspicions, the major knife being used to kill him.
I understand it may be difficult for one to keep such information to yourself, but I ask you to try. Your involvement has already tainted my investigation.
You are welcome, detective.
When my superior officer hears what's going on in this house, I'm surely seeing green fields of the countryside once more. I must do all I can do to redeem the reputation I would have worked starting to find with the killer.
S'il vous plaît, Comtesse. Keep this information to yourself.
I believe I've gathered enough that's required. Monsieur Stilling will be able to assist me in gaining access to the major study. We're not happy with the contest. Touching shit she shouldn't be.
Whatever you need, Detective.
I wish to inspect the major study again.
Certainly, Detective.
This room is still a crime scene and should have remained untouched, but it looks like though it's been ransacked. I request Monsieur Starling to have the body wrapped and moved, which has been done thankfully. Where else has gone on in here? Someone was obviously looking for something, in particular major documents. The accounts have been thoroughly rifled through. The major has recently taken out a large loan and the interest rate is astronomical. Oh yeah, because the safe was not open. Just the major with no return address. Didn't mean to do that. God damn it.
Huh.
Was like, how about we go to bed? I must admit, side by side, there's a striking resemblance between. Wait a second, why? Huh. How strange, the Viscount was also present in the picture, but has been folded out. I don't think there was any hostility between the Major and the late Viscount. How strange, I could not access this yesterday, but now it's been left wide open. Scratches are obviously around the lock. Someone in this house was eager to see the safe's contents, and half-sealed letters addressed to Madame Bosch from the Major. I am not the one to read other private mails, but under the circumstances. My dearest Cassandra, I feel though it's been ages since I have been able to set my eyes on you. A day I have waited for so impatiently. I keep the photograph of us together at the lake close to my heart, always. I cannot wait to see how young Angeline has grown. Her beauty will surely soon reach that of her mother's. I hope the gifts from the Orient reach you fine. Wait a second. The work has kept me away for so long as drawing close. I will be returning to the continent within a month. At your request, I have found accommodation in the city. It pains me to think to be so close, yet unable to be with you every moment. But it is ease your worry. I shall not continue to question it. I will arrange it for a visit of the house. An old friend returning will surely raise minimal suspicion. I understand the Viscount is currently out of the country. I hope you not felt the strain of loneliness take over. It will not be long until we are reunited. Until that day, until the end of mine, my heart is yours. Oh! It's clear from the letter their affection for one another has been more than friendship. For some times. The mention of young Angeline suspects it goes back as far as 20 years. Okay, so the plot has definitely thickened here. There's some stuff going on right now. Okay, there's two.
I should not be surprised by
he
my
did
own
take out a
skills of
loan
deduction.
because of the ransom. So he was worried. Okay. Not sure.
Is there something?
That's not it.
Come, my little Grey Cells.
We must think logically. Order and method. That is the way to solve the problem.
I'm apparently like, this is not.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Okay, the hidden photo of them, along with Angeline's attachment to him, proves he cared deeply for them. Major cared about Cassandra. Maybe this one?
I must act on thought and fact, not on impulse. What a revelation!
Okay. It's like, I believe the Major would do everything to remain in the comfortable life he's accustomed to, but would he stoop so low to fake a blackmail letter? I don't think so. Because, like, literally,
the pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
The evidence shows the Major was not the author of the blackmail letter. The Major was a victim, just like Mademoiselle Angeline. Whoever is doing this, penning these letters, knows a great deal about many people. I wonder how many more have received similar letters. I bet that's the connecting factor of all of them. Uncertain connection between the Major and the ransom has been resolved. The Major was being blackmailed. The letters were not written by his hand. What remains unresolved is why the Major was being blackmailed. 2 cases of extortion under one roof. The question of the relationship must be asked. Major's secret is anything but obvious from his letter. I now have a blackmailer and a murderer and their weapon to find. If the correct process is followed, they shall be found swiftly. I should take my leave. This room has already revealed enough new insight into Madame and the Major's life. So
Detective
we got a lot
Poirot,
going.
I have been asked to inform you that Lady Van den Bosch has returned to her room, and she wishes not to be disturbed.
Merci. Madame certainly has mastered the art of subtlety.
They may not be the exact words she used, but I'm sure you can imagine. Excuse me, I have some further duties to attend to in the pantry.
Perhaps I should take this opportunity to search the top floor, though there's no one to disturb me. There is one room that holds particular interest. I should inspect the storage room while I have a rare opportunity. Gazing at the stars truly one's simple pleasures. Could spend every waking moment reading. Me too, bud. Painting of majestic mountains, the tip of which pierce the clouds. The attention to detail is fantastic.
Oh.
A painting of atmospheric forest scene. The artist captured ambience of the forest perfectly. Oh god, that was good English, wasn't it? That's their bedroom. A painting of the boat sailing across the vast ocean. The artist is clearly very talented.
Oh.
There's a number of spectacular pieces in Madame Bosch's art collection. That's Cassandra's room. Oh. You admired all the paintings in the Great Hall. I don't know if that speaks to Major's bedroom. To the storeroom. That's what I look at too much stuff. Collection of children's toys. Such a shame to see them stored away and not being enjoyed. Considering they've been kept in storage room, they are almost in perfect condition. My immediate assessment would they belong to Mademoiselle Angeline. Time and skill it takes to build such a wonderful piece. It's an art form. Oh, look. The lonely storybook rests here. It's obviously been read a great number of times, judging by the condition of the spine and pages. I'm perhaps not the target demographic, but I understand it's to be quite popular amongst the younger audience. To the real lady of the house, happy birthday. Watch you grow into a proper young lady has been more than words can describe. All my love, Felix. I would not have expected to find such a heartfelt message written by Monsieur and Mademoiselle Angeline. Is this an unusual description you would find from a family friend? Angeline is his... I cannot seem to get straight answers from anyone regarding the Major. I know he's been friends with Madame for some years, but I must find out anything if there's any more. Oh my gosh, she is his kid. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now.
I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps a second look at the evidence in front of me. I must act on thought and fact.
Oh, maybe.
Come, my little Graycel.
I bet that's
You
his
must
daughter.
think logically. Magnifique.
Okay, I want to put those together. It seems the Major had lived a rather comfortable life in the house for many years. So we need to go find Angeline. Okay, so... Alright, we're gonna go talk to her and we'll find a place to stop for the night. I will be streaming tomorrow. It'll just be later in the day. And like I said, we might either finish this, or maybe we will finally get back to Tears of the Kingdom. Or maybe we'll play Dragon Age. We got multiple choices. I got too many games. Perhaps it's time to speak with Mademoiselle Angeline again. She should be able to give us a valuable piece of this puzzle. Oh, there she is.
Detective Poirot, are you any closer to uncovering the truth of Felix's involvement with the letters?
I am, mademoiselle. I can confirm that he was not the author of the blackmail letters.
So the author is still out there?
Oui, but it will not be long before they are apprehended, and the only letters they shall be penning will be from behind iron bars.
Your confidence is rather assuring. Thank you, Detective.
Your comment about the current guest stayed with me last night.
I'm sorry, Detective. I did not intend to leave your mind so full of thoughts.
No apology is required. It actually made me question my whole chain of thinking. What if there had been a collusion between them, and the Major's murder was planned, organized, and orchestrated to make the investigation seem almost impossible?
Oh my, Detective, that is quite a theory.
Every guest has a motive. You confirmed that with the mention of Mademoiselle Conrad and the Major's fight. Supplying one another with a rock-solid alibi would surely throw off any detective.
But not you.
Correct, mademoiselle. It would take much more to stamp Detective Poirot.
While searching the storage room, I found a book that I assume was a gift from the Major to you.
I haven't seen that book in so long. Yes, it was a gift for my 10th birthday. I have read it from cover to cover countless times. He left such a lovely inscription too.
It sounds as though there is a side to the Major I did not get to see. Was it common for him to bring you gifts?
Not common, but if he had been away for some time, he would bring me a small memento from his travels. He hasn't done that in some time, though.
The toys that were in the book, with the book, were they also gifts from the Major?
They were. I'm afraid they may have gathered some dust being in the storage room for so long. I kept them in hope of giving them to my child when the time comes.
It sounds as though he had always cared about you.
His presence at the house was comforting for us both after Father died, even if sometimes he was a little too overprotective.
You spoke last night at the Major's support of your mama.
That's right. Ever since I can remember, Felix has been around.
It seems as though she has a number of support networks. The Major, her friendship with the Countess, not forgetting Monsieur da Silva.
Maman has many friends. I know how she may seem to most, but once you break the hard shell...
There is a further shell waiting to be broken.
Oh, very good, detective.
Forgive me, mademoiselle. I only jest.
It's quite alright. You're not the only one that feels a raisy tongue. She's grateful you are here, especially now, whether she shows it or not.
I'm still yet to see this version of Madame that speaks of. I'm not sure I will get my hopes up for a budding friendship. Speaking of Comtesse yesterday, she did not have the greatest opinion of the Major.
They have often come to blows when it concerns Maman. They are both trying to protect her, but they themselves cannot seem to get along.
She spoke of his desire to join the, how do you describe it? Social elite.
This isn't the first time she has vocalized that concern. She thinks the Major was just using our family name to make his way to the top.
Wake up, Coco.
And you do not agree?
I will not deny he has shown interest in Maman's social circles, but they have been friends since even before I was born. Surely all those years of friendship was not just to raise his social standing.
Al does not believe the Comtesse had to say about the Major. Perhaps it's jealousy that drives her scandalous theory. If I may be bold, did the Major contribute to the household?
How do you mean, detective?
I imagine a house of this size is rather costly, keeping it in the immaculate condition it is in.
Maman looks after the financial side of the house, but I think she has had to ask him more than once for a contribution of sorts. It is not for me to get involved.
Okay.
I shall not keep you any longer. Merci, mademoiselle.
Sorry that this is a shorter stream, guys, but I'm literally falling asleep. Maybe I just needed the distraction because my brain's been like a little chipmunk on crack. I have everything that I need to push past Madame's on her secret. Oh, so when we come back to this, maybe what we'll do is I'll finish it tomorrow. Looks like we're gonna finally go to blows with the Madame of the house. She is quite a character. She's a little rough around the edges. She's just no fun. She's just no fun. That's good English. She's just no fun. But I want to tell everybody thank you for stopping in and saying hello. It was nice to see everybody. I promise I will get back to a regular stream schedule once I actually know my work schedule. Right now, I only know 4 days in advance. So, I don't know that much, to be honest. But, hopefully, soon, you'll be able to make a plan and be able to make a set stream schedule, because the goal is I actually be streaming more days than I used to, because I get off work a little bit earlier. So yeah, anyways, I hope everybody has a good night, and thank you for joining me. This will be going to YouTube, and sorry YouTube, eventually I will not have so many tech issues, I promise, one of these days. Anyways, have a good night. Bye.